If you're a technical recruiter and you still don't know much about Kanban, then please pay close attention because we will dive deeper. As a little refresher, if you haven't seen the previous videos, I just want to remind you that Agile is a set of values, principles and methodologies. And Kanban is one of the methodologies, okay? So Kanban is right here. So Agile values, the 4 values. We value this over that. 12 principles. What are the 12 principles? For example, frequent delivery of software. And now, what does it mean? What Kanban as a methodology is, okay? That's what we are going to talk about right now. So let's start with the core principles of Kanban. So there are 3, okay, and we will go through them one by one, and I will demonstrate what do they mean. So first is visualize the workflow. Visualize the workflow. I'll just type it like this. Second, limit amount of work in progress. Okay, and the third one is enhance flow. Enhance flow. Okay, these are important. These are important, and I will tell you why. So first, visualize workflow. Usually you have these standard task lists, right? You have I don't know, Wunderlist, or you have Asana, or you have whatever, just with a list of tasks, and you cannot really see the workflow. You can see maybe the status, but you cannot really visualize the workflow because it's just a list of tasks. With Kanban, they visualize the workflow, and maybe I can share with you one of the examples. I can show you this example with the Kanban board, where you can see three columns. The first one is selected for development, the second one is in progress, and the third one is called done. Okay, so here, this is a very simple Kanban board. This is a board where you can see individual tasks, right? So for example, on the left side, you can see account for Animator Modulator, or whatever that means, but this is one task. It has one person assigned. You can see the priority. You can see that it is selected for development because it is in the column, right? And as the tasks progress, they shift from one column to another. So if this would be a basic Kanban board, you have a task here, and then as soon as, for example, it is in progress, a developer starts working on that task, then he or she moves it from one column to another. So it disappears in the first column and it appears in the second column. And as soon as the developer finishes the task, then he or she moves the task in the board to the status done. So this is a very simple Kanban board, and you can see how it visualizes the workflow, starting with to do, or selected for development, or whatever we call the first column. Usually it's to do, by default is to do, or sometimes it's backlog. It depends on the tool. It could be, in Jira, I think it's to do. In Trello, it could be backlog, whatever. It doesn't matter. To do, then you have in progress, and then you have done. Okay, so three major columns. But I can show you also another example with 4 columns. So for example, you have a backlog, you have selected for development, in progress, and done, okay, in this example. So you can go further and further in customization of the particular workflow. I remember in my previous company we had about 9 different columns, because as soon as you have more people working on the same project, then you may want to, for example, introduce a column blocked. Blocked. As soon as a task is blocked, then it should be highlighted. It should be identified. Hey, this task is blocked. Someone needs to unblock it. It's usually a role of a product owner or like Scrum Master in a Scrum team. It could be a dedicated developer. Like someone should find a way how to unblock the task. Then you can have, for example, a column in tests, tests or in testing. So that could be another column. Then we have the column, for example, ready for deployment, which was again indication for the DevOps engineer that hey, he can take this task and deploy. Okay, so you can go further and further in customization, but this is what you would start with. To do, in progress, done. And I see more and more teams, even outside of IT, adopting this best practice because it really helps you visualize the workflow, even for a marketing team, even for an HR team. If you are a technical recruiter, then you can start visualizing your workflow, the people you approach, the projects you work on, etc., etc. Okay? So first, remember, Kanban is about visualizing the workflow through a Kanban board. So this is called a Kanban board. I write it here, Kanban board. Okay. Then second principle is limiting the amount of work in progress. And you can see sometimes, for example, limiting the number of tasks here. So say you would have a team of 2 people and then just common sense tells you that the limit would be 2, right? Because you cannot have 3 tasks in progress if you have 2 people, because the premise behind this is actually to let people focus on one task. So that's why as soon as you have a team of 2 people, you would limit the number of tasks in progress to 2. Okay, so there would be 2 tasks here at maximum. Okay, and there is a limit. You cannot, well, usually in a tool you can, but then it highlights or it sends an alert to a team leader or manager, product owner, Scrum Master, whatever. So you would have a limit here to 2. So this actually encourages the flow of tasks. So here you have a task, here you can have 20, 30, 50 tasks in the backlog, okay? And you want them to move to done as soon as possible. So you have a task here that moves here, and then a task would move again here. And then as soon as this is done, it would move somewhere at the end of the list again, okay? So you want to make sure that you limit the number of tasks in progress to increase the productivity of developers. If something is blocked, it should be moved to another column, maybe labeled blocked, so someone else can unblock it. And the principle number 3 would be enhance the flow. So Kanban says, hey, we need to frequently deliver, because that's an agile principle. We need to deliver the code. So we need to make the flow really steady. Okay, let's figure out how can we have it, the tasks flowing steadily. So, for example, this visualization helps, the limitation of amounts of tasks in progress helps, and you can have someone in the team who is also helping to remove blockers, okay? But it doesn't, Kanban doesn't impose any role such as, for example, Scrum does, a role of Scrum Master, okay? But still, the principle says, hey, let's enhance the flow. Let's deliver as soon as we have something to deliver. Let's fix bugs. Let's go for high quality code. Let's enhance the flow. Okay, but the Kanban board is what is important to keep in mind. This is important to know. You should ask a hiring manager, hey, do you use Kanban? Do you use Kanban board? How do you visualize tasks? Do you use a Kanban board in Jira or Trello? Or do you use Kanban board on the wall somewhere, which is also really cool. As soon as you have something on the wall, people can touch it, people can see it. It's usually great, even though there is a trend to get everything online, to the cloud, to Jira. But still, there is something about having it on a wall where everyone can see it, everyone can touch it with a post-it, maybe like this. This is what we used to do also in my previous company. You have a Kanban board and then you just move it here and there. Okay, so that's what it would look like. Well, I don't want to mess it up now, but if this would be smaller, then you have a task in to do, then you move it to in progress, and then you move it to done. People feel really well, from my experience, they feel some sense of accomplishment when they touch this and they move it, they touch it. Okay, it's more visual, it's more personal, it's more human if you touch it and you move it. It just feels better than moving it in Jira or Trello, where you just tap it and you do it on a screen. So this is what you can also ask a hiring manager whenever you have a discussion with him or her. How do they do it? You need to know what you talk about. You need to talk about Kanban board, about the Kanban methodology. You can ask them, hey, do you limit the number of work in progress? Our developers, are your developers protected, or do they need to multitask? Okay, so these are some of the things you could ask a hiring manager. And now, what would be some of the benefits of Kanban board, you may ask? So for example, and if I compare it to a different setup, say a mobile application. Okay, mobile applications cannot really be released every day because they need to go through approval process. It takes maybe a week for a mobile app in the Apple Store or Google Play Store to release. So that's not what you do, right? You release every 2 weeks or every month a new mobile app. So for mobile apps, for example, in my previous company, we've used Scrum, because in Scrum you have some, you don't have continuous delivery. You have a sprint, at the end of the sprint you release. So that was great for mobile apps. But Kanban is really great for continuous delivery, where you, for example, deliver product through a server. It could be an API that you can deploy 10 times a day. And anytime you finish something, you deploy. Boom, boom, boom. Okay. So Kanban is great for continuous delivery. Something that is on a server, some website that you can ship immediately. Okay.